and now I will be doing a full review on one of the latest releases from the House of Armaf, Club de Nuit Iconic. This is one of 4 new releases in the Club de Nuit line. They had this one, they had Urban Men Elixir, which I've done a review on, as well as a First Impressions. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Then they also have 2 more. They have a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540, as well as a clone of Parfums de Marly de Lena. I only got this and Urban Man Elixir, so I cannot speak to the other 2. Again, I've done a video on this. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you're interested, anybody looking to purchase these in the States or anywhere that this place ships, it's available on fragrancebuy.ca. If you're in the States, they have quick shipping. It gets to you fairly quickly. It only took me maybe 3 days to get it. Again, here is the bottle. Metallic blue, it is see-through. You can see the gradient on there. You can kind of see the juice in there through the design that is on there. Pretty cool looking bottle. You know, it's tacky, as is all the Club de Nuit line. But anyway, this is supposed to be a clone of Bleu De Chanel. So how close is it? Well, we'll get into that. It certainly is a clone of Bleu De Chanel. I can confirm that without a doubt. That is what they were going for. So then it's just how close is it, and which Bleu De Chanel. As far as performance goes, and I will speak to that now, in the first couple of hours, I'd say maybe first 3 hours, you get a nice projection from it. After that, it really gets kind of close to the skin. I noticed the same thing with Urban Man Elixir. Neither of them were really loud after about 3 hours. Longevity is decent. I got about 8 hours out of it, but it's not super loud, you know. It's relatively close kind of scent bubble. People around you are going to pick it up. The sillage is all right, but you're not going to be like projecting like crazy. Certainly not as strong as the old versions of Club de Nuit Intense Man, the EDT, or even the newer versions of EDT. It is a louder fragrance. It's not bad though. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad performance. It's just not beast mode or loud or anything like that really. So, you know, performance is decent. Now, which is it closest to? Because immediately when you spray it, you're going to get that, you know, that citrusy, powdery, dark kind of incensey Bleu De Chanel scent profile. It's going to immediately remind you of Bleu De Chanel. Very clean, very shower gel, very fancy kind of formal, upscale kind of smelling shower gel basically vibe is what you're going to get from it. Now, I do have the entire Bleu De Chanel line, the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, and the Parfum, although the Parfum name is a little worn off. I will say, anybody who's questioning whether or not their Bleu De Chanel is legit, because there are a ton of fakes out there. 2 things. One, most of the fakes won't have magnetic caps, okay? And those that do, because some of them will, they won't do what Chanel does. See how this forces itself to line up? Oh, well, it forces, like, you can't put this on wrong, essentially, for it to click. The magnet in it makes sure that it lines up. Same position each time. If you have a fake, it won't. It'll be magnetic, but you can put it on any which way. I know this because I've had a fake. And so, you know, anyway, that's one way to kind of tell. Now, of course, there are different levels of fakes, and I'm sure some fakes that might work, you know, the same way. They might be that advanced. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and spray each one of these, let you know which one I think it's the closest to. Right now, I already have the Club de Nuit sprayed. This is the Eau de Toilette. Look at that atomizer. Way better, obviously. Okay. Ooh. This room's gonna be smelling good, I'll tell you that right now, if you're a Bleu De Chanel fan. Man, if you're not, I don't know why you're watching this. This is the Eau de Parfum. And then the Parfum. Okay, so to me, the difference is in the lime. The Eau de Toilette is the freshest. Parfum's the densest. They all have obviously very similar scent profile. Eau de Parfum's in between of the Parfum. Comes off less incensey, less rich. The toilette's very like fresh, crisp. The, again, parfum is like more incensey, more rich, not quite as fresh, but it is still fresh. And then eau de parfum is kind of an in-between. I will say that immediate spray, and spray it again because it's already kind of smelling a little weak on here. That first spray is going to remind you most of the eau de toilette. Super fresh, super bright in the opening. It almost has, it's very fresh. And to some extent, it reminds me of, there's this very crisp, just kind of extremely fresh smell from anybody who has smelled Sillage by Armaf, the Club de Nuit series, which is a clone of Creed Silver Mountain Water. There is this very crisp kind of, vibe about that. You get that in this, but with that Bleu De Chanel DNA, that makes it lean more towards the eau de toilette. And smelling them side by side, it's definitely more in line with that. I'd say it's the farthest from the parfum. It certainly smells like they are trying to clone the eau de toilette. Now, as it kind of develops, some of that crispness goes away. It does kind of get a little closer to the eau de parfum, but when you wear the eau de toilette, it does that anyway. So I think they were just going for the eau de toilette. It's just as it starts to dry down, some of that freshness kind of fades. It's really good, to be honest with you. It's certainly one of the better clones out there. I think for the money, it's not bad. However, this was more expensive than the Urban Elixir. Again, I think this was like $60. So, I mean, that's a judgment call on your end, whether you think it's worth it. I think it's a decent pickup, especially if you don't have other clones. Certainly better than Armaf Shades Blue. Certainly better than probably Tag Him. I haven't smelled Tag Him, so I can't say that, but I would imagine based on the reviews I've seen. And having smelled this close to Yes, I Am King, I will say this is better quality. So this is certainly in line with what Club de Nuit has been doing as far as, Milestone and Sillage. They are both very much better quality clones from Armaf. The oil quality smells much better. They're not as harsh, not as synthetic smelling. This isn't at all. In fact, if you smell it close up on your hand right away, you are going to get an alcohol burst. But it doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell harsh and synthetic like a lot of the other Armafs do. It is definitely better. Honestly, I even got some of that synthetic vibe from Urban Elixir. So performance is good. I think honestly it's better on me than the Eau de Toilette. It's just like I said, it's just not loud. To me, the Bleu de Chanel is louder. Personally, I feel like it goes, the Sillage is better. And that's just me though, Of course, it could be different for you. There is obviously a quality difference. I'm not saying these smell dead on, one-to-one, they don't. I will say from experience, seems like a lot of clone houses have issues trying to clone Bleu de Chanel. And a lot of the non-traditional clone houses, that are buying oils from overseas and mixing it themselves, the Duas, the Alexandrias, the, whatever, Kings, Central Obsessions, Making Sense, all of those, they miss the mark quite a bit. This is closer, in my opinion, than all of those clone houses, Bleu de Chanel. For whatever reason, it's harder for some of these companies to clone that. This, I would say, the second closest is Yes, I Am King. That is certainly, in my opinion, the second closest to Club de Nuit iconic. So, do I think this could be a replacement for Bleu de Chanel? Absolutely. I don't think you need to buy Bleu de Chanel if you have this. They're close enough. People that are around you aren't going to notice the difference. Honestly, I don't even think frag heads walking past you are going to notice the difference either, unless you tell them this is what you're wearing. That's how close it is. It's not like Club de Nuit Intense Man, where there's a clear difference and somebody in the air, might be able to distinguish it from a Ventus. This, they're not going to be able to. Okay, so think of this as a similar along the lines, again, of Milestone and Sillage. It's that close to the real ones. And And for the money, I don't think it's bad. I imagine it's going to come down in price. At that point, definitely worth a pickup if you're looking for a good alternative. Again, it is closest to the Eau de Toilette. It's going to give you that freshness, less of that incense, less dense, less rich, more airy kind of vibe. Certainly smells good though. So anyway, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Again, I got this from fragrancebuy.ca. They had all of them there. I believe they're all still available. So the next video I'm going to be doing will be a video on the Z Creators first impressions, and then I'll break down each one individually. So stay tuned for that.